All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at NFPS, a company that trains trainers, those who teach self-defense and physical intervention.
Sounds intense.
It is. And you know what's really cool is we've got a ton of info to work with here.
Yeah, we do.
Blog posts from their website, details about their courses, even some YouTube videos. It's like we're getting a behind-the-scenes look at their whole operation.
Yeah, a real peek behind the curtain, right?
Exactly. So think of this deep dive as, well, imagine you're thinking about becoming a trainer yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
We're going to explore whether NFPS would be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
We'll dig into their training methods, their history.
Their leadership, even the legal aspects of what they teach, which can be a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, one thing that jumped out at me right away was how much NFPS stresses safety and legal defensibility.
Right from the start.
Yeah. They even talk about positional asphyxia. That's where someone's airway gets blocked because of how their body's positioned.
That's scary stuff.
It is. And they're really careful about it. They emphasize using up-to-date techniques and avoiding anything that could be dangerous.
Makes sense. I mean, if you're a trainer and something goes wrong during a restraint, you could face serious legal consequences.
Exactly. Lawsuits, fines, even prison sentences. It's no joke.
No, it's not. And NFPS seems very aware of that responsibility.
Right.
They want their trainers to be confident that what they're teaching is safe, effective, and legally sound.
There was this one line on their website that stuck with me. Don't be the one who teaches them.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Meaning, don't be the trainer who's still using outdated techniques that could get someone hurt.
It's like they're saying, we'll equip you with the right knowledge so you don't become a liability.
Okay, so they're serious about the legal side, but what about the training itself? The range of courses they offer is pretty impressive.
It is. They've got self-defense, handcuffing, conflict management, de-escalation tactics, you name it.
It's like a one-stop shop for anyone who wants to become a trainer in these fields.
And they have a very specific structure to their training.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
So before you even attend an in-person training, there's online learning to get you started.
Makes sense. Get the basics down first.
Exactly. And then they have these intensive hands-on sessions at their facility.
They actually have their own facility.
Yeah, it's called the Lilleshall National Sports Center.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. And throughout their material, they keep emphasizing how practical their training is. Meaning they focus on techniques that are easy to learn, easy to remember, and easy to teach to others.
That's smart, especially in high-stress situations. You don't want to be fumbling around trying to remember some complicated move.
Exactly. They're all about keeping things simple and effective.
All right, practical techniques, a solid legal foundation. But is there anything else that makes NFPS stand out? Like what really sets them apart from other training programs?
Well, one thing that caught my eye was the support they offer their trainers, even after the courses are over.
Oh, right. They've got those Facebook groups, coaching calls, even one-on-one advice if you need it.
Yeah, that's not something you see every day in the world of trainer training. It's usually more like, here's your certificate, good luck out there.
It could be a pretty lonely experience, I imagine, especially when you're dealing with something as sensitive as self-defense or physical intervention.
It can be. You're responsible for other people's safety, and the stakes are high.
So having that network of support, those mentors you can turn to, that could be invaluable.
It could be. It's like they're creating a community, a place where trainers can connect, share their experiences, and learn from each other.
Okay, so we've got a company that focuses on practical techniques, understands the legal aspects, and provides ongoing support.
Sounds like a pretty solid package.
But who are the brains behind all this?
All
I'm curious about the leadership team.
right, let's talk about the people who make NFPS tick.
So the founders, who are they and what's their story?
Well, the company was started by Mark and Deborah Dawes, but it's now run by Rab Landells and Treville Henry.
And what kind of experience do they bring to the table? What makes them qualified to lead a company like NFPS?
Well, Mark Dawes has a background in hostage negotiation and stress management.
Oh, wow, that's intense.
It is. So he clearly knows how to handle high-pressure situations and make tough decisions under stress.
I'd say so. What about Rab Landells? What's his story?
He's spent years in close protection, like bodyguarding for high-profile individuals. He's even trained Hollywood actors for action roles.
Well, he's trained Hollywood actors. That's amazing. But how does that translate into teaching self-defense to everyday people?
Well, I think it shows he can break down complex skills into manageable, teachable pieces. He knows how to make things practical, whether he's working with a celebrity or someone who just wants to feel safer walking down the street.
Okay, so we've got expertise in hostage negotiation, close protection, and even a bit of Hollywood flair. What about Trevor Henry? What's his area of expertise?
Dreville Henry is, well, he's an expert witness in use of force cases.
Wow, so he's the guy who helps determine if someone's actions were justified in a violent situation.
Right. And he also advises organizations like the police and the prison service on best practices for physical intervention.
That's some serious legal know-how.
It is. And you know what's interesting? All three of these leaders, Mark Dawes, Rab Landells, and Treville Henry, they've all got this shared experience in high-stakes, real-world situations.
Yeah, it's not just theoretical knowledge for them. They've been there, done that, dealt with the consequences.
Exactly. And that experience really comes through in their training materials and their philosophy.
Speaking of philosophy, NFPS has this mission statement that emphasizes integrity, honesty, keeping people safe, and going the extra mile.
Right. Those values are front and center in everything they do.
It's not just lip service either.
Yeah.
It seems like they genuinely believe in these values and weave them into every aspect of their operation.
Yeah, it's more than just a business for them. It's about making a positive impact and empowering people to be safer and more confident.
So we've got a pretty good understanding of NFPS's approach, their leadership, and their values.
Yeah, we're starting to get a real sense of what they're all about.
But what about the people who have actually gone through their training? I'm really curious to hear their perspectives.
Me too. Let's dive into those testimonials and see what they have to say.
All right, let's hear from the people who have experienced NFPS firsthand.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, so we've explored the why behind NFPS, their philosophy, their leadership.
Yeah, their values.
But now I want to know, what do they actually teach? Like, what does an NFPS training session look like?
Yeah, let's get into the what of NFPS, the actual techniques.
From what I've seen in the videos and descriptions, it seems to be about simplicity and effectiveness.
No flashy moves or anything.
Exactly. Practical stuff that trainers can easily learn and teach to others.
And one thing that really stood out was their emphasis on de-escalation techniques.
Oh, interesting.
It seems like they prioritize resolving situations verbally and peacefully, whenever possible.
Before resorting to physical intervention.
Right. It's about being a problem solver, not just a tough guy.
It makes sense. So it's not about teaching people to be aggressive or confrontational.
No, not at all. It's about giving them the skills to assess situations, communicate effectively, and de-escalate conflict if they can.
But of course, there are times when physical intervention becomes necessary.
Right. Sometimes you can't avoid it.
And in those situations, NFPS focuses on minimizing the risk of injury, both to the person being restrained and the staff involved.
They're all about safety and legal defensibility, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, they're not teaching techniques that are meant to inflict pain or cause unnecessary harm.
It's about control, containment, protecting everyone involved.
And it seems like they have specific techniques for different situations.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like different methods for dealing with grabs, holds, punches, even bites.
It's a pretty comprehensive system.
It's like they're giving trainers a toolbox, so they're prepared for anything.
Okay, so they've got the physical techniques down, but we've also talked about the legal side of things.
Right, and they go pretty deep into that.
They really emphasize understanding the law, especially when it comes to self-defense and physical intervention.
Yeah, they want their trainers to operate ethically and responsibly, to know their rights and limitations.
Because without that knowledge, you're kind of operating in a gray area.
Exactly. And the consequences can be serious if things go wrong.
They talk a lot about reasonable force and being able to justify your actions in court.
Oh, yeah. Those are key concepts.
Can you break those down for us a bit? I'm not sure I fully understand what they mean.
Sure. Reasonable force means that the amount of force you use has to be proportionate to the threat you're facing.
So you can't just use excessive force, even if you feel threatened.
Right. You have to be able to explain why your actions were necessary and why the level of force you used was appropriate.
And that's where understanding the law comes in.
Exactly. You need to be able to articulate your actions to show that you acted within the bounds of the law.
And NFPS seems to go the extra mile to make sure their trainers have that knowledge.
They even bring in legal experts to teach these concepts.
Yeah, they mentioned working with some big names in the legal field, Michael Mansfield QC and Eric Baskind.
Those are heavy hitters. It shows they're not messing around when it comes to the legal side of things.
And they don't shy away from the tough topics either, like positional asphyxia.
Right. They're very upfront about the risks of using certain techniques improperly.
They want their trainers to be aware of the potential consequences and to use those techniques safely and responsibly.
And they keep emphasizing that ongoing support for trainers even after the courses are over.
It seems like that's a really important part of their approach.
It is. Think about it. You're a new trainer, fresh out of your certification course.
You're excited, ready to go.
Great, but then you hit the real world and things get complicated.
You face challenges you didn't anticipate.
Exactly. And that's where having that network of support can be so valuable.
Those mentors who can guide you, answer your questions, help you navigate those tricky situations.
It's like they're saying, we're not just going to teach you the techniques. We're going to be there for you every step of the way.
And they provide all sorts of resources, lesson plans, PowerPoint presentations, marketing materials.
They're really setting their trainers up for success, not just in terms of skills, but also in terms of building a career in these fields.
So to wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's safe to say that NFPS is more than just a training company.
Yeah, they're like a comprehensive resource for trainers.
They provide a complete framework for understanding the legal, ethical, and practical aspects of self-defense and physical intervention.
They're training trainers to be competent, confident, responsible, and ready to make a difference.
Now, I'm really excited to see what people who have actually gone through NFPS training have to say.
Yeah, let's hear what those testimonials reveal.
Let's dive into the real-world impact of this training.
Okay, let's do it.
Welcome back. We've spent this whole deep dive really digging into NFPS and how they train trainers in self-defense and physical intervention.
Yeah, we talked about their philosophy, their legal knowledge, all those practical techniques.
And an amazing support system for their trainers.
Right, that's huge.
But now, let's hear from the people who've actually gone through their training. We've got all these testimonials, and I'm curious to see how NFPS has actually impacted people's lives.
Yeah, let's get into the real-world results.
So what are we seeing in these testimonials? What are people saying about their experiences with NFPS?
You know, as I'm reading through these, one thing that really jumps out is the consistency of positive feedback.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
People keep praising the professionalism of the instructors, the clarity of the material, the supportive learning environment.
That's awesome. It's not just about learning the moves. It's about feeling empowered and respected throughout the process.
Exactly. It seems like NFPS really creates a positive and encouraging atmosphere for learning.
Are there any specific stories or quotes that stand out to you?
There's one from a woman who always wanted to teach self-defense, but she was terrified of public speaking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she says the NFPS instructors helped her overcome that fear.
That's incredible.
It is. They gave her the tools and the confidence to not only teach, but to actually build a successful training business.
So they're not just empowering people physically, but mentally and emotionally too.
Right. It's about personal growth as well as professional development.
Any other examples like that, where NFPS has really made a difference in someone's life?
Here's one. This guy talks about how the training had a life-changing impact on him, not just professionally, but personally.
Oh, wow.
He says he used to feel anxious and unprepared to handle difficult situations, but after going through NFPS, he feels this sense of calm and confidence.
That's powerful.
It is. He says he feels ready to face whatever challenges life throws his way.
It makes you realize that this training can go way beyond the classroom. It's about equipping people with a mindset that can change their whole outlook on life.
I think that's a big part of what NFPS is about.
What else are you noticing in these testimonials?
Well, I'm really struck by the diversity of the people who are sharing their experiences.
In what way?
We're hearing from healthcare workers, security professionals, martial arts instructors, and just everyday people who want to learn self-defense.
It's not just a niche market, is it?
No, not at all. NFPS's approach seems to resonate with a wide range of people.
It reinforces what we talked about earlier, that emphasis on de-escalation, on using physical intervention only as a last resort.
Yeah, these are skills and a mindset that can benefit anyone in any situation.
So to wrap things up, if you've been thinking about getting into self-defense or physical intervention training, would you say NFPS is worth checking out?
Absolutely. Based on everything we've seen, they offer a really comprehensive and well-rounded approach.
They combine practical techniques with a deep understanding of the legal and ethical considerations.
And they're committed to supporting their trainers every step of the way.
Plus, they've got this amazing track record of success with tons of positive feedback from people who've gone through their training.
It's clear they're passionate about what they do, and they're making a real difference in people's lives.
So if you're looking to empower yourself, to learn valuable skills, and maybe even build a career in these fields, I definitely recommend checking out NFPS.
Couldn't agree more.
And that wraps up another episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of NFPS. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.